The purpose of this video will be to help teach you how currents, water speed, and structure affect different places fish like to hang out, so you can spend more time actually fishing where the fish are. Before we get into it, the first thing you're going to want to pick up is a pair of polarized sunglasses. They don't have to be anything fancy, but polarized glasses really help to cut down on how much glare is on top of the water, and it can help you see what's going on down below. This will help you spot more fish and have a better idea as to where the best spots to fish are. The two fundamental things you need to learn about whenever you're understanding how to read water are 1, water speed, and 2, seams. Water speed is important because fish, just like animals, they don't want to work any harder than they have to in order to get food. So what they like to do, they like to sit in something that anglers refer to as walking speed water. So water that's not moving too fast, but typically that is situated close to faster water so they can pop in and out of that fast water to catch any food that's drifting by in that quick stuff. That introduces concept number 2, seams. Seams are these transition points where the fast water meets the slow water in river systems. Seams are super important whenever you're fly fishing or fishing at all, because this is where the most trout and fish are generally going to hang out, because they can work as little as possible to get the most amount of food. I have a nice little seam sitting right here in this kind of riffle behind me. This would be a great spot where fish could kind of sit, pop in and out of that fast water and feed. So this is a great spot to start fishing. Going to make a few casts right here. So while these are the two most important things to understand in fly fishing, like most concepts of fishing, there is a little bit more to it. Understanding other types of structure like pools, pockets, eddies, and riffles can further help you to understand where the fish are going to lie to give you the best chance at casting in the right places. So the first thing I'm going to talk about when understanding that water speed and seams are important when finding fish is something called riffles. What riffles are, it's areas in the river where there's a bit more of a gradient to the river, and it's usually fairly shallow, maybe 2 or 3 feet of water sitting in there or less. What'll happen in these riffles, the rocky bottom creates a little bit of undulation at the surface of the water. What all that undulation does, it helps to oxygenate the water, which can create a great environment for aquatic insects to live. Sitting down at the bottom of these riffles, you will actually get something called a horizontal seam, where the water on top is moving quite fast, but the water down low, because of the friction against the rocks and the river bottom, is actually moving slow. So fish will sit down low at the bottom of these little riffles, like are pictured right out here beside me. They'll sit there and they'll look up and wait for any of that food to drift in that fast water over top of them. So these riffles, they can be really great places to fish, especially in the hotter season where some of those deeper pools don't hold as much oxygen. So the next thing I'm going to show you is something called a run. Runs are a little bit more tricky to identify than riffles because they don't look like there's a whole lot going on. If you see down here just below me, there's a little bit of riffles that kind of tails out and do a bit more of a run. Runs are typically slightly deeper than riffles, so maybe you'd see 5, 6 plus feet of water. And while it may not look like there's a whole lot going on at the surface, there's still structure down low in these runs, things like rocks, trees, or debris that can change the water speed, create seams, and create nice little pockets where fish can lie and look up and wait for that food to drift by. This is a nice little run here, so we're going to kind of fish our way down it to see if there's any trout or grayling holding up in it. So pools, like this little area in front of me here, are deeper bodies of water that can offer great protection for fish. Predators, they can't see down quite as deep, so when fish sit down at the bottom of them, they're a little bit more safe. Now, while they don't offer quite the same amount of food as a place like a riffle would, they still can, opportunistically feed on any insects or bugs that are passing by. Another great thing about pools is the water is often very slow, so the fish don't have to spend very much energy while they sit down in that nice cool water. Whenever you're fishing a pool, typically what you want to do is just slowly fish the water column. If you're seeing fish feeding at the surface, or if there's a lot of insects drifting down on the surface, throw something like a dry fly first and fish the top of the water column. If you're not having any action there, then you can throw something like a nymph on to get a little bit deeper. Or, you know, if you really want to get down there, you can throw something like a big heavy streamer on after you've already tried your dry fly and then your nymph. Get down low with the nice streamer, just so you covered all your water, and hopefully if there's any fish sitting down there deep, they'll take on the third go. Pockets are another very important piece of structure to consider. Pockets are formed whenever something like a rock is in the middle of the river and fast moving water hits the rock and creates a little pocket of slow moving water in behind it. You want to make sure to fish in front of these pockets. There's an area called the cushion where the water hits the rock, right in the front where the water's moving slow and fish will actually sit there. There's also a little bit of friction created on the side where the fast moving water meets the rock. It also creates a cushion, so the fish will sit on the side of the rock as well as in that slow moving pocket of water in behind. So you want to fish the front, the sides, and the back of the pocket, as well as the tail out where that fast current meets back up after the slow moving water ends. Pro tip: every river is just a big collection of currents, seams, and transitions between fast, slow, and medium speed water. If you fish these seams and target that walking speed water, you'll eventually find fish. Thanks for watching, and good luck out there this season. If you've got any tips you'd like to add or anything that you would change, feel free to leave it for us down in the comments below.